Hi, I'm Pete, and this is an update on two Shapeways puzzles I showed on my channel last year. This is the Radiolarian 3 by Jason Smith, a face-turning icosahedron. And this is the Radiocube 3 by Iten Chair, and it is a cubic transformation of this puzzle. So it's kind of cool to have two related puzzles, both from Shapeways. Now I'll just show you a little bit about the Radiolarian 3. This is one of a set of puzzles that Jason Smith produced. He has them one, and he's working his way up all through this series, and the cuts just get deeper and deeper. This is fairly early in the series. It has relatively shallow cuts. It's starting to get a bit more maybe challenging than maybe some of the earlier ones with the depth of the cuts. This puzzle, I've already been able to solve it. I used the puzzle simulator Gelatin Brain. I used one of those puzzles. I'll actually put the number in the notes for this video. And the difference with the simulator and the actual puzzle is that the simulator just has 10 colors. This has 20. So it's definitely more challenging when it has more colors on it. And it's not just twice as challenging. It's probably 3 times harder or something like that. But it wasn't too bad. It reminds me a little bit of a Tutminx just in terms of the way it moves, though. This requires quite a few more algorithms than a Tutminx. I've tried using some block building techniques in my solves. I didn't get very far with that. Mostly I had to use algorithms, but I'm going to try it again because I think it may be possible to complete a face or a few of the faces, or at least a big chunk of them, using some block building. So the puzzle took quite a while to break in. I turned it quite a bit before I started solving it, but really it took an entire solve before it started turning really well. It does take a little bit of care to get everything lined up properly, and because there's so many faces intersecting that you really have to make sure that everything's lined up before you start turning. And if things do get a little bit misaligned, you really just have to pause every once in a while during the solve and make sure that things are moving smoothly. But as you see, it turned very well, and it's just a blast to solve this. I really can't say enough about it. It's just a lot of fun, and it's a great challenge. Very satisfying to get to the end of it and having solved it completely. So that's the Radiolarian 3. Now the one I'm starting to work on now is the Radiocube 3. Now I haven't solved this yet. I think I have a good idea of how to solve it now that I've solved the Radiolarian 3. This is a 20-axis puzzle. The vertices turn, as do the faces, in 2 different directions. Each face turns, so that gives you 20 axes. So a corner turn on this would be the equivalent of a face turn on the Radiolarian 3. However, because of the cubic transformation, a turn of one of the vertices like this is also the equivalent to a face turn. And this is not a jumbling move, because I can still do all of the turns that I would otherwise be able to do with this in this configuration, right? See, I can still do all of the normal turns. Okay, so what makes this one a little more challenging is that some of the pieces have 2 different shapes on the cubic transformation, and I think that's pretty true of all of the cubic transformations. So it can get very confusing because pieces have different shapes. On the other hand, this has just 6 colors rather than 20, so it might be a little easier in that some of the center pieces can go in any direction, or sorry, in any numerous slots, so it'll make it a little easier to place pieces. So I'm looking forward to getting started with this. Well, next I'm going to do a couple algorithms on both puzzles so you get to see what they're like. I've moved to a wider shot here so that I can show you the same algorithm on both puzzles. And it'll give you a sense of how they work, and it should show some interesting things about the Radiocube 3 as well. The algorithm I'm going to show 3 cycles these small triangular centers on the face of the Radiolarian 3. So there to there to there. Okay. And it doesn't change any other pieces, which makes it a fairly rare algorithm for this puzzle, because normally a lot of pieces move with every algorithm. So here we go. Okay, and that was the algorithm, and it might be a little hard to see because they're so small, but this piece, and this piece changed. So the piece that was here went over here, this purple went down here, and this piece went up there. And this was the front of the puzzle, so it operated right on the front, and that's what I like, and that's why I really appreciated having that simulator Gelatin Brain to be able to find algorithms like that. Now, the same algorithm on this puzzle, it's going to be interesting because we have to figure out what the equivalent faces are. I'm going to use this one as my upper left. This is going to be my mid face here, and then this one is going to be my down bottom right that I used. Okay, and we're going to 3 cycle what the equivalent of the triangular face centers, and this should be kind of cool. Now to get this one to go, I have to do, it's a 120-degree turn. I have to make sure that the corners end up in the right places, and I'll know that I have it right because my next move is an MFL, and if that works, then I have everything lined up. Indeed, I have it lined up correctly. So that looks like it might have been a jumbling turn, but it wasn't. That's the really, really freaky thing about this puzzle. And there we go. Okay, so maybe that was the first one on video, I don't really know. So that is a 3 cycle of these small triangular centers, and what's interesting about it is that some of the small triangular centers are indeed triangular, but look at this. This is also a center. And it comes out of this cubic corner right here, but in fact it's actually a center, and you can see it because if I turn this, this is a face right here, so of course it's the center of the face, as are all of the other cubic corners, centers of faces. So that's kind of neat, eh? And that's why I'm really looking forward to solving this after having solved the Radiolarian 3. But I'm taking my time because I really want to understand how all the pieces interact, and what all the equivalents are before I really mess it up. Scramble it up, because it is going to look very jumbled even if it isn't. Okay, so that was my demonstration. I hope you enjoyed that. So I'll talk a little bit about jumbling. Both of these puzzles jumble, but the jumbling isn't really much. it certainly on the Radiolarian 3, it doesn't add any level of difficulty to the solve, because you can do anything you could do jumbled, you could do just with a very simple algorithm. It's probably shorter. So there's the jumbling right there. I can take out a corner, 3 corner points, and a pentagonal center and a triangular center. I could, if I line things up properly, actually 3 cycle these pieces, but I can do that with a 4 move algorithm just as easily. And I can also, these pieces, I can also 3 cycle them with a simple 1 move algorithm, which is just a face turn. So the jumbling also, none of these pieces are in more than 1 orbit, so you can get any piece in any position, and it's really quite easy. So the jumbling is interesting, but it doesn't really do much on the Radiolarian 3. The jumbling on the RadioCube might be a bit more interesting. It's the same kind of jumbling, but because there are different piece shapes, there's more than 1 shape to several of the pieces, it will be more confusing. But it really is, it's the same kind of thing that we see on the Radiolarian 3, in that what you can get out of it is a corner and 3 corner triangles, a pentagonal center, and a triangular center. So that's the jumbling right there. And of course it is a blocking type of jumbling, so once you do it, you get those pieces. Well, eventually the puzzle will stop moving. Well, that same amount of stuff is a very easy 3 cycle, and I'll show you how that works here. If I want to turn that, well, of course I could just turn one of these, but here's a 3 cycle that does exactly, that moves exactly the same pieces. So there you go. So I move that, and that's exactly what you can do with jumbling. And it's this very similar 3 cycle available on the Radiolarian. So you know, it would add an element of interest and fun to this puzzle if it happened, and an element of confusion, but it really doesn't. You can't use it to solve the puzzle, and having some pieces jumbled wouldn't substantially affect the difficulty of the solve. Well, that does it for the follow-up of my 2 Shapeways puzzles, the Radiolarian 3 and the RadioCube 3. These are both great puzzles. I think they're well worth it. They're well worth getting. These are going to be challenging me for quite some time to come, and you know, I'm really just getting started learning about these puzzles and learning all the neat things that you can do with them. If you have any questions, I'd like to try and answer them, so please feel free to leave questions in the comments section. I'll do my level best. If you have any comments, anything you'd like to say, I really enjoy reading your comments, so I welcome them. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.